Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you are listening to High School Hoops with our hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Steger. Hey, everybody. Welcome to High School Hoops episode 20. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with a tough loss. So that'll be a great one. But before we get to that, I'd like to give a big shout out to Dr. Dish. Go over and check him out. The #1 shooting machine on the market, in my opinion. Nothing better out there. It's versatile. It has a little bit of everything. So go over and check it out. Like I've said 1,000 times, we own 2 of them. This time of year, they're awesome to have. So go over and check it out. Mention Coach Unplugged and get $300 off your next purchase. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. 14-day free trial. You will not be disappointed. Go over and check them out. All right, Coach, we're on 20, right? Episode 20 of High School Hoops.
20. We made the 20 mark.
Made the 20 mark, 1/5 of the way to 100. All right, yep. This one I've been very blessed. I haven't had to deal with this one too much, but go ahead. What's this one?
How do you handle a tough loss? It could be a blowout. It could be a close game. I mean, anything that in the eyes of that coach is a tough loss. A tough loss for one person might be completely different for somebody else. But
right.
That overall, how do you handle that within yourself as a coach and with your players? So basically the question is, how do you handle a tough loss?
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this a little bit before. You know, I make my post-game speeches really short after a tough loss because they don't hear you. You know, especially when it's tournament time and the tears are flowing, and the next day is better for anything. For any teaching moment, they're not going to hear it at the time of a tough loss. They'll hear it better. And I've done this year where we've been beating some teams by 20 points, and we've had a 20-minute conversation after the game because it's not to our standard. And here's what we need to do. And they're more attentive because they just won by 20. You know, but when you lose, it's like they're sad, they're upset, they're not sure why. And anything you say, you basically sound kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what you sound like to them. Because
for sure.
Yeah. So it's better off to think, and when usually I talk to my coaches, we'll talk before I go in the locker room, and then we'll talk after. And that's where I'll jot stuff down. It's like, okay, we got to talk to this kid, or we need to talk about this tomorrow, or we got to show them this. And then they'll be much more attentive toward it later. So I think that's one of the big things that I've learned in 30 years is, you know, if you really want to get something out of the loss, it's got to be a delayed satisfaction or reaction to the specific thing.
I put down, don't dwell. I mean, it's part of it. You're going to win, you're going to lose sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really hard, especially during the season. You know, a tough loss during the season, those are going to happen. I mean, you will have time during playoff time. That could be your moment to dwell for a little bit longer. But during the season, you owe it to your team as a coach to put on your big boy pants and be able to be positive about it, whether it really bothers you or not. You have to be a really good actor, even though that loss may really hurt you.
Yep.
You owe your kids. And then I think you can dwell a little bit more after the season. I mean, like if you've lost in the state championship game or you've lost some,
or the state finals when you're undefeated, you dwell for a while. Trust me.
And if you don't dwell on it, then there's something seriously wrong with you then.
Right.
In my opinion, if you really love the game of basketball and you're doing it for the right reasons, those are your times that you can really dwell. But I think that you owe it to your kids not to dwell during the course of the season, because they're going to pick up on that too, and it's going to create negative energy. And you as a coach become the energy vampire. It talks about if you've ever read the book Energy Bus, which is awesome. Continue to emphasize on the process. You might, as a younger team, you might have some more tough losses throughout it, and keep emphasizing the process. Is a process. We're constantly building on things. Try to find positive things. Like, well, this is a really good team in the conference. We're going to be really good by the end of the year. Constantly having that sense of dialogue.
Yep.
One big mistake that I made in my younger years of coaching is don't try to change everything around a bad loss. So if you're going to, like, sometimes you have such a bad loss, you've had a couple bad losses in a row, and you want to just change everything and throw everything out, throw a brand new offense in and try to do all these huge changes. I think you got to be really careful about that, because you only can do so much in a given practice.
Hey, everybody, I hope you're enjoying high school hoops. Please go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you're listening to this, you're probably a high school coach. This is made for you. It's made for youth coaches. It is a community. It's helping with parents. It's helping get your kids play. It's practice plans, everything you need. You can also go over and leave us a review. We would love that 5-star review on whatever podcast listener you use. So go do that. Let's go back to
I think I made that mistake. Well, this isn't working, so we got to throw this all out. And,
right.
It starts to get you, and you got to be really careful on that. Make some minor adjustments and start thinking about, okay, what can we do to be better?
Yep. And I think that minor adjustment thing is big because, like we were just saying in the last episode about, I gave my guy some time to relax and gave him some time off a couple episodes ago. And in my head, then I was going, okay, what's working, what's not working? It's harder after. You want to do more things after a loss. It's better to have reflection on that, not after a loss. Like we have 4 out of bounds plays in. We tanked our worst one statistically, and we put a new one in. It's a minor tweak. We kept 3 of them. We got rid of the one that was the least effective. We tweaked it. We put in some pressure because we needed, so it's those minor little tweaks. We're not like saying this offense is going away and we're going to start something brand new. That won't work after a loss, and you'll just be scrambling forever if you do that.
And a lot of times it's things happen in a repetitive nation. So, like, if you've gotten beat baseline 7 or 8 times in the course of a game, that could be the reason why your defense is breaking down. So if you sit back and you reflect on that, all right, we're going to spend a lot of time working on not getting – if your defense is working about not getting beat baseline, that's a minor adjustment that you can work within your practice. You don't have to, throw in 5 new defenses to fix that problem,
Right.
Don't need to throw duct tape over it kind of thing. It's like, all right, what can I do to fix it a little bit, We always want that easy fix, and sometimes it's not always the best case scenario.
And that's hard. I think that's hard. I think you want to fix it, and it's like a lot of things. You don't need to there's nothing maybe broken. It's maybe you just need to get better at a specific.
I think it's a cultural thing too, Steve. Yeah. It's just that we have an app for that. We have every resource we search in. And, we just got killed on a 1-3-1 zone. How can we beat that? You go search that online, and you got a plethora of 25 pages to look that up and try to fix it. The information is just so abundant. And it can be very overwhelming on a coach.
Yeah. So I agree. I think don't let like I tell my players, the winning teams are the ones that are constant. It's like you might be paddling, you might be like that duck paddling underneath, but everything looks steady and eddy. It's the same thing after a loss. You can't get too high with the wins and too low with the losses. You want to kind of stay right in the middle, and that's what the good ones do. They learn from both of them. They learn from and the problem is a lot of coaches and a lot of young coaches don't think there's anything wrong. I'm as critical after a win as I am after a loss because they feel good after a win. But it's the math teacher in me. I'm looking at the analytics and I'm going, we didn't do this very well. We got to keep getting better. So you can't get too high with that. You got to be just as critical of yourself after a win as after a loss. And I think society and everything, we're more critical after loss because we lost.
And then that helps with practice too, because if you're not critical after a big win, your practices aren't going to be as good, you know. And if you're too critical after a loss, your practices aren't going to be as good. So I think the way to really end this episode is finding that even balance and constantly trying to stay in an even flow, you know, feeling good about where you're at as a team, you know. I think that's huge.
It's that steady Eddie. Yes.
Yep, steady
Eddie is the.
I think we end this episode with the steady Eddie philosophy.
Steady Eddie is the good way. All right.
Yes,
Till next week. All right.
Thanks.
See you. Bye. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Couple things you can do for us. Please go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. 14-day free trial is a basketball community. It is Netflix for basketball coaches with community and one-on-one calls and office hours. And you've heard questions on Coach Unplugged that are from Teach Hoops members. So go over and check it out. Also, go over and leave a review. We would love that. It allows us to keep bringing these great podcasts to you. So go over and do that for us. Thanks.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.